It was the moment he and the SNP had waited on for generations. Scotland on the cusp of becoming an independent country. Many thought it was impossible, the master tactician striking a historic deal with then Prime Minister David Cameron, coming close to redrawing the map of the UK. He was a heavyweight of politics in this country, a Marmite man who left office in the wake of the referendum loss.
He was a brilliant political strategist, a brilliant leader. He led the SNP twice. He led his country to the brink of independence. After we lost the independence referendum, it was Alex Salmond who identified that if the 45% who'd voted yes, voted SNP in the next British general election, the SNP would have a landslide. Nobody, including myself, believed him, but he turned out, as usual, to be right, and he was very much the author of that victory.
Alex Salmond achieved what no SNP leader had before, pulling the party from the fringes to become a dominant election-winning political force. Fearsome and fearless, this was a politician who was a powerful communicator, a mentor to Nicola Sturgeon, who took over the reins as First Minister.
And now we come to the second of our brolads from Ayrshire.
But the beginnings of a bitter breakup began when Salmond could not resist taking a back seat, signing a deal with the Russian state broadcaster, putting their relationship on what would become an irreparable path. And then came the explosive moment his reputation was diminished as allegations of sexual misconduct emerged. He took Sturgeon's government to court over the handling of the scandal. A judge said the probe was tainted by apparent bias. This was a figure who then faced a criminal trial and was later cleared of criminality. All the while, Salmond had a swirling suspicion dark forces were at play to bring him down. He was exiled from the SNP.
Did Nicola Sturgeon conspire against you?
The tragedy is it damaged Alex Salmond. He was pushed to the margin of Scottish politics at a time when he had so much to offer. And the tragedy is that that was inflicted upon him by those whose careers he had fostered and mentored.
Shut out from the SNP, he split parts of the movement and founded a rival pro-independence party. The optimism for the future obvious in this, his last interview with Sky News just 3 weeks ago.
I think Scotland will be independent in the next 10 years. Now, how that happens, I think, will be as follows. I think it's possible that we could win a nationalist majority in the 2026 election. If people vote wisely on the list, I think we can build that independence majority. And if we do that with a strategy to force Westminster's hand into accepting the will of the people, then we could get towards independence very quickly.
It makes this image all the more shocking. The last picture of Alex Salmond taken before his death, collapsing after a speech in North Macedonia. Tributes from the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer, saying Alex Salmond was a monumental figure of Scottish and UK politics. He leaves behind a lasting legacy. And Nicola Sturgeon saying she's shocked, but stresses she cannot pretend that the events of the past few years, which led to the breakdown of our relationship, did not happen, she says. And it would not be right for me to try. She concludes it remains the fact that for many years, Alex was an incredibly significant figure in my life.
He took the Scottish National Party from the fringes of Scottish politics to become the government of Scotland, and he took Scotland incredibly close to becoming independent. He has made a huge contribution to the public life of Scotland over his life.
As this reverberates around British politics, the flags at the foot of Scottish democracy in Edinburgh now fly at half-mast. A fitting tribute to a man who was one of the most iconic political figures of his generation.